Hey everyone! Welcome back to some more Let's Play Vampire the Masquerade-Bloodlines. In the last episode, we had arrived at the Sabbat warehouse, having been smuggled there by Bertram Tongue. With the astrolite in hand, we were able to sneak past the thugs guarding our objective, planted the astrolite, and got out of there without anyone noticing us. It just took us like 2 reloads. Make sure that occurred. With task well performed, we then made it back to our apartment, and we found $150 waiting for us in our mailbox. A thank you for Mercurio for having recovered the werewolf blood and making sure no one could study it. We also snuck past a single Sabbat waiting for us inside the alley behind the asylum. Sabbat aren't going to be too happy about having their warehouse demolished, and we may be feeling the effects of that sooner rather than later. We also ended that last episode with 11 experience points, so I'm thinking we're going to spend that right now, and I'm going to go ahead and get the chores done, as it were. We're going to spend 8 of these points on improving our strength one more time, to give us that melee combat 5 that I really want, and an unarmed combat of 3, which would help us in feeding on people during combat. With the remaining 3 experience points, we'll increase our security 1 point, giving us a 5 lockpicking. And now that is done. Alright, I feel a lot better now. We'll probably be leveling our perception, our wits, and our stamina next. And once those things are done, I will begin focusing on either appearance or subterfuge a little bit more, and probably getting another discipline up to rank 3, and which is a celerity, and then maybe we'll also get auspex to rank 3 as well. So that's what's going through my head. We'll see whether or not I do that. And let's head on out here and begin our adventure for the evening. Alright. So what can we talk about, everyone, while we're walking over here to the taxi car? So I think things went really well for us here in Santa Monica. We were able to purchase extra experience points with those books. Our character is looking pretty well-rounded when it comes to the stats I care about. We definitely will be wanting to focus on more ranged combat, because that's, at the end of the day, and at the end of the game, I want to be using guns, not melee weapons, because I don't want us to be running around swinging a sword at things. I mean, we are doing that. We'll be doing a whole lot of that. But at the very end of this, it's going to be guns, not melee, getting us through most of it. I really want to be able to use the Shin Gun 2 without any combat penalty. We have a decent amount of cash as well, like $600 or something like that. $729. That's a decent amount of money. We could pay Vandal to get access to blood, but until I think I need to purchase blood, I am not going to bother even giving him the time of day, let alone some of the dollars from our pack. Our wallet, that is. Yeah. Could we maybe kill this guy? He might have an Uzi on him, right? The other guys that look exactly like him have Uzis. Or submachine guns. I don't know if we want to fire a gun in the alleyways. Yeah, we're not going to do that. There's cops around the corner. So we're likely... gunfire is likely to be heard, and then police will come and investigate. So no, that guy can just exist in that alley. Man, I can say this. I'm not going to miss how run down Santa Monica is. Hopefully downtown looks a lot better than this place. Maybe the prince will give us a better haven we can move to as well. I think that he can do that for you, but I think you have to do really, really well in Santa Monica for him to do that. Or you have to be a Ventru for him to offer you a different haven. Oh, and a heads up, everyone, before we take the taxi. During the last episode, kind of near the beginning, I mentioned that if we snuck through that entire area without being detected, we would receive extra experience points. And we didn't actually receive any extra experience points, did we? Well, It turns out, I think I'm wrong. You get the extra experience points if you don't kill anyone during the warehouse trip. And so, well, we did kill one person, right? We killed that one guy to make our exit easier. And I thought about redoing it off screen. But in the end, I decided not to. While it is 2 experience points, and you see me go out of my way for that much experience points, I'm glad we did what we did. It made it a lot easier for us to escape. We planned basically our escape route before we had to take it, and I think it worked out really well, and it was a smart move on our part. So I'm not going to attempt to redo it to get 2 more experience points. Whatever. I'm glad with the outcome of what occurred. And I would love to feed on this guy. He's all alone, so you know what, sir? I'll take some of your blood really quick. All topped off, thank you. Alright, well that's even better for us. Okay. I can't think of anything else we need to do here. We could talk to Bertram Tongue a little bit more about the whole Therese Jeanette situation. I guess I said I was going to do that later, but
hey there.
Hey.
Need a date?
No, I'm good. Why don't we actually do that now? Well, before we leave Santa Monica. At least we'll talk a little bit more about Santa Monica, but I'll avoid talking about the clans and what have you until a little later. Maybe we can talk to if we can ask about the bare basics about the Sabbat and Camarilla. We'll do that. But otherwise, we'll come back and talk with Bertram later for more in-depth information about specific clans.
What do you need?
What was the deal with you and Therese Vorman?
That was just silly vampire politicking, fledgling. No more. You get used to that kind of thing.
I think Therese really wanted you dead.
Yeah, no kidding. Now that the Camarillas moved into L.A., Therese wants the title of Prince of Santa Monica. I guess she saw me as a threat. Funny thing is, I could care less.
Fame and power don't intrigue you?
I wouldn't want to be the Prince of Terre Haute. I leave that headache to the Ventru. Besides, there's only like 4 vampires in all of Santa Monica. Some kingdom.
Oh, okay. Can I ask you something else? We are not mentioning that Jeanette and Therese are the same person.
Like what?
I had some questions about the sex.
Sure, fledgling. It's war out there, after all. You should know all you can about the different sides.
Well, what can you tell me about the Camarilla?
The Camarilla works. When you let vampires run wild, you wind up with caitiff frenzying in the streets, thin bloods blowing the masquerade, and hunters sniffing around. Law and order is the kindred's friend.
So, what do you think of Prince LaCroix?
What am I gonna say? He's the boss now.
Yeah? What about that guy that decapitated my sire?
He's LaCroix's iron fist. No one knows the sheriff, really, except LaCroix. No one even knows the guy's name. There's lots of rumors about him, though. I heard LaCroix picked him up in Africa over 100 years ago. Obviously, they work well together.
Can I ask you some more questions?
Like what?
About the sex?
Yeah.
So, more about the Camarilla.
The Camarilla works.
So, you mentioned a caitiff. What's a caitiff?
Caitiff are just riffraff vampires who don't know anything about vampire society. Don't know their clan. Mutt vampires. What I suspect you were perilously close to becoming if LaCroix hadn't intervened.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think our sire was still there and waited for us to wake up instead of just feeding on us and then leaving. I think she actually cared about us. Another question about the sex.
Yeah. The Camarilla
We're going to skip that. So, you mentioned Thin Bloods. What do you know about them?
Theory goes that the farther down the bloodline you are from Cain, the weaker the blood is. So if you're, say, 5th generation, the blood is strong. If you're 15th generation, you barely qualify as a vampire. A thin blood.
Sounds like the bottom of the barrel.
It is a sad state. They're weak. Their power's watered down. Most of them are caitiff, and there seems to be more and more of them. Many kindred think it's a sign of Gehenna.
Gehenna. I've heard that a few times now.
Gehenna, the day we all die. When our sleeping forefathers rise and bring about the end of the world, many believe we are living in the final nights.
You've mentioned hunters before. Who are they?
Hunters. Humans who hunt vampires. Most are half-cocked yokels, who also say they've been abducted by UFOs. The real hunters are trained by secret societies, holy orders of the church that have existed since the Middle Ages. Fear them.
And who is Cain?
Cain, the biblical brother killer. Father of all vampires.
A few more questions for you, if you don't mind, Bertram.
Like what?
More about the sex.
Yeah?
So, that's enough about the Camarilla. How about the Sabbat?
You ask me, the Sabbat makes no sense. They couldn't care less about the Masquerade, and they seem to care even less about themselves. It's like, hey, let's all spread hell on Earth so we can feel big and bad. Oops, I'm dead. Now how did that happen?
Yeah, I think I agree. You don't want to really grab too much attention to yourself. Something else about the other sects.
Yeah?
What are anarchs?
The anarchs. Yeah, I respect what they do, strenuous liberty and all that jazz, but they're kidding themselves. Wherever there's an ounce of power to be had, there'll be people dicking each other over. You think the Camarilla invented that?
Nine Rodriguez is a member of the Anarchs, right? What do you know about him?
From what I hear, he's a likable sort, and that's a problem. Nines Rodriguez is the kind of guy you want on your side, and more kindred go anarch every day because of him.
Okay. Thank you, Bertram. Take care. We'll ask about, again, the individual clans later. I think he does go into it quite a bit, and he can tell us more about other people. But I don't want to spend another, 30 minutes talking to Bertram. We got some Chapter 2 to begin doing. I also wonder if we missed something in the smoke shop. I don't remember the smoke shop from my earlier times playing. I know it didn't seem like there was anything in there except for, a guy we could talk to. And I don't think we're supposed to feed on anybody in there, just willy-nilly. Maybe there's a quest that was added in the game and we'll be there later.
Where to?
Away from here. Alright, everyone, so here's we go ahead and select where it is we're supposed to go. So we can go to... We're here in Santa Monica, and the only other location open to us at this point is downtown. So we're going there. Let's go.
Let's drain it. Let's stake it and leave it out for the sunrise.
We're going to have a lot of fun with this one. Think you could blow up our warehouse and get away with it? Ah, lick.
Let's pull out its eyes and its tongue and its teeth. I want its teeth.
Camarilla, fuck. Boys, I think we could all use a little entertainment. Those of you sitting in the first few rows will get wet. Son of a bitch!
Leave.
There's 3 of us, Rodriguez.
Yeah. 3 of us. What are you gonna do? Shoot us?
This ain't over. We'll find you. You too, Rodriguez. You're both dead. Nobody messes with the Sabbat and lives.
Keep moving. Trouble sure seems to like you. Good effort.
Execution needs a little work.
You look like shit. Name's Nines.
The White King moves to protect his pawn. Thanks for the help.
Should have been more careful, newbie. This ain't the burbs.
I never made that connection until right now. I remember you from the court.
Kid, I got things to deal with. Why don't you pay me a visit at the last round tonight? I don't know what you've heard so far, but it's time you heard the real story.
I'll do that.
This is a mean existence. Stay out of trouble, kid.
I'll try. Oh man, I've forgotten the music for Downtown. This is what we heard when we first started the game, and we were in our apartment and our sire made us. The introduction here. But, where's the main tune? Any second now. Oh, holy crap. Good times. Oh man, does this bring back the memories. Hey everyone, alright, welcome to Chapter 2. The downtown, if I recall correctly, is quite a bit bigger than Santa Monica, and we'll have several places we'll be interested in going, and there's quite a few side quests for us to do and find. And I'm going to start with exploring back here. For some reason, I think there's something back here, and I'm wrong. Okay, good to know. Alright, yes! Well, I think the first thing we should probably do is go ahead and visit Mr. LaCroix. He is in the Ventru Tower, which I think might be this building here with all the gargoyles on it. So let's not keep the prince waiting. Let's get this done first. We'll see quite a few other people walking around out here as well now. And anything else I can think of from the top of my head? No, I can't think of anything else. So this is going to be a bit new for me too. I mean, not really, because I have done this before, but it's been a while for me. I don't remember where the main entrance is to the Ventru Tower, but I think this is it. And I think it's right up ahead, right where that colored light is. So let's go there first. I think most of the locations in this downtown can be visited at one point, and we'll want to explore all of them. Oh, man! See that strange symbol way up ahead of us? Oh! Well, you know, I don't know why I got involved in that. I'll be right back, everyone. So the problem... the problem with swinging a melee weapon around is that you kind of swing it around. We're not stabbing with the dagger right in front of us. We're making wide sweeping motions, and so if we accidentally slice someone who's not supposed to be sliced, at that point everyone in the world cares. Yeah, you might have noticed that the police, they didn't care about the gunfire until we got involved. So there's something super special about us in particular. It's because we're the PC, we're the main player character, right? Well, welcome to Downtown, everyone. That was, I think, our first final death. The first final death. Yep. That makes sense to say out loud. Okay. I think what went through my head right there is there's gunfire. These look like thugs fighting normal people. Let's kill the thugs. And the moment I swung that dagger and hit a thug and a normal person, at that point the rest of it fell apart. So, but we won't do that this time. And I guess I'm wrong about where the entrance to this building is, because I thought it was right here. And it is not right there. Okay. Also, we could have survived that, and I could have ran and hid from the cops. But You might have noticed the large black gentleman with the afro was aiming directly at me, and I stopped to see if he was doing that. And the moment I realized he was doing so, I wanted just to reload the game. I think that's Fat Larry is his name, and he's a merchant here in downtown. And we will want to get on his good side. So having him shoot us means that's not going to happen. So we'll just pretend that I didn't get involved in that scuffle. And this is off limit. Oh, is this the Ventru Tower? This must be the Ventru Tower, not the building with the gargoyle statues. Okay. I love how goth everything seems to be, and how dark and brooding the streets are down here. I mean, I haven't been downtown, but I don't remember California looking so dreary. It's been years, though, since I was in California. Wow. Back in 2006 or 2007 was the last time I was in that state. Is that the cop? That's the same cop who was outside the Gallery Noir, isn't it?
Hey there, Chief. Small world, huh? Yep, after that gallery, I didn't think I'd be able to get a job guarding a room full of jack squat from the Boogity Man. But then I get a call offering me this sweet night shift slot, and I'm back in the security game. Well, enough about my lucky break. You, here to see one of the bigwigs, Chief?
Yeah, I'm here to see LaCroix.
Would that be Sebastian LaCroix of the LaCroix Foundation, or Dwayne LaCroix of Insurrection Baby Formula Company?
Sebastian LaCroix?
Okay then. Mr. LaCroix, he told me to expect someone fitting your description sometime tonight. You go right on up.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you have a good power meeting, or whatever it is you types do up there. You need any security? Well, you just ring the front desk and ask for Officer Chunk. That's me, in case you were wondering.
Did you say Chunk?
Yeah, I get that all the time. The name goes back to my football days. Actually, my fantasy football days at the station. Stationarium. That was this office supply outlet mall I used to watch. Hey, you kids! No skating in the parking lot! That was me.
Right, PC, you Chunk. I'm not gonna be mean to the poor guy, you know. Not everyone's meant, well, to work the best jobs, and someone's gotta do the job he's doing, so I guess good for him. He's got a purpose, he's getting paid for it, and LaCroix, I guess, seems happy to have him on, so maybe it's tough to find a good, loyal cop. Or, not cop, security officer. And the only place we can go here is the penthouse, so the penthouse we go. Quite a nice place you have here, Mr. LaCroix. This is an Elysium zone, so we will not be able to fight, and we cannot use any powers except for blood buff, and only when picking locks.
There you are. I was informed of your presence in the building. Since you're here, I'll take the liberty of assuming you've destroyed the warehouse. This is correct, yes?
Yes, that is...
Most excellent. I had no doubt you'd prove my decision a prudent one. I trust you encountered no impediments to your progress on account of my personnel.
No. None at all.
That is the answer I like to hear. You've done well, circumstances being what they were. I will admit, not many in your position would have overcome such a trial. But don't misunderstand me. It was no fool's errand. You may yet prove to be a genuine asset. It's a bit disturbing, the lack of talent within this organization as of late. Tell me, what would you say to doing a bit of reconnaissance for me?
I guess. What exactly do I have to do?
There have been whispers, rumors spreading around the kindred community concerning the Elizabeth Dane, the cargo ship that was towed into port recently. Have you heard of it?
Yes, we have. Right? We've heard that all the crew are missing on the ship from the news report. Yes, go on.
The police are investigating the Dane as we speak. Even the Nosferatu have little information on what's been found. However, the reason the ship has caused such speculation is because it was transporting an object called the Ankaran sarcophagus. Now, I'm not one to predicate a decision based on conjecture, so what I need is fact. And more importantly, I need evidence that the occurrences on the Dane were not supernatural in nature, and in no way relate to this Ankaran sarcophagus.
What do you need me to do?
You have 3 objectives. 1. I want you to examine the sarcophagus for anything unusual. You may sense something peculiar about the sarcophagus. In fact, many kindred in the city have reported an uneasiness in the air since the Dane's arrival. Do not, under any circumstances, open the Ankaran sarcophagus. Secondly, the police have begun their investigation. Find out what they have concluded thus far. Thirdly, take the cargo manifest for the ship. I want to find out what else it was carrying. The last thing we want is police aware of our existence, so be careful what you do in front of them. And unlike the warehouse, you cannot wholesale slaughter a ship full of lawmen without consequences. Is this understood?
Yes.
Good. Oh, and it has come to my attention that you had an encounter with Nines Rodriguez earlier. The man so does love to throw that cretinous charm of his brashly about. What exactly did Mr. Rodriguez say?
He asked me to visit him at the last round.
I see. Then, you should go humor the by-the-numbers rhetoric he's so desperately aching to spew. Oh, please, before the chance of fascist oppressor from that dive of theirs clog the air and choke the local kine.
I'll go see him right away.
Give the Anarch community my regards.
Okay. Oh, can we talk with you briefly?
Give the Anarch community my regards.
I cannot. Okay. I wanted to ask him a little bit about the Camarilla, since we still don't know too much about it. But that's not in the cards at this moment. The Prince wants you to investigate the Elizabeth Dane. Before you do, he wants you to contact Nines Rodriguez at the bar called The Last Round and find out why he wants to talk with you. I guess, can we talk with Chunk a little bit more? Oh, do we need to? I guess we don't need to. I don't think there's really anything we need to explore here either. So let's just head back out to downtown. Okay, so we have a ton of stuff to explore. How do we want to get started? Well, we bumped into an NPC when we were gunned down. Why don't we go back there and see if that can be handled a different way without us getting involved? Sorry, instinctively, I have the desire to get involved when I see what looks like innocents being attacked, and try to save them if I can. So that's what that's what was going through my mind when I ran around the corner and took out my weapon. In truth, I should not have done that. We never should have gotten involved in that fight. But I think it was going to be around the corner here to the right. And I see this place right here, this evil-looking cathedral, is a bar. And I just remembered I haven't actually set up the... I haven't set up the music for it, so I'm going to have to do that off-screen. Those guys look like they might start a fight with me if I decide to get a little too close to them. Let's see if that happens. Okay, good. No. But maybe that guy won't survive. Oh, that guy looks like a lot like me! Only he's got blonde hair instead of red hair, and we can't talk with him. So this guy, yeah, we saw him took out a submachine gun or something like that earlier, began shooting people. Let's talk with this guy, big number 34.
Player, what's the score? How they hang? Good evening and all that commotion. Welcome to Fat Larry's Trucker Mac, the only store for all your needs after 10 o'clock. I am the proprietor and salesman of the month several years in a row. The ladies call me, oh God, but you can call me Fat Larry with a F-A-T, cause I know I got a weight problem, I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah! What do you got in the truck, Fat Larry?
Now, that is a legitimate question, but a better question to be, what don't I got in this truck? Cause at Fat Larry's, my motto is, everything's got a price, but I probably know somebody who can get it anyway.
The way this guy talks. You got, I'm not gonna mock him by talking about counterfeit baseball jerseys. You gonna talk all night, or are you gonna sell me something?
Nah, that's what I like to hear. But it's like this. I save my best stuff for select clientele. Now, that don't mean I don't appreciate your business. It's just, business.
Show me the merchandise. Alright, so he's selling a machine gun. Sorry, submachine gun. Ingram Mac 12, right? Is that right? A small light machine pistol, sorry. Machine pistol that fires 9mm rounds. Not made for accuracy as much as deliver the largest amount of ordnance in the shortest period of time. Bursts are more accurate, but due to high silic rate and low weight of the weapon, it is still seen as a mainly spray and pray gun. He also is selling an Ithaca M37, but we already have one of those, and a Glock 19, a 9mm standard pistol with polymer grip and guide rod instead of metal that makes it lighter than other pistols. It can be found in use by most law enforcement agencies. Notice that the minimal range requirement for all these weapons is 5. He's also selling a fire axe, but we already got one of them. And he sells bullets for our single pistol we're bringing with us. And he is selling heavy clothing. This is a set of heavy clothing, which acts as armor. Heavy clothing has an armor rating of 1. There are no stat penalties for equipping it. Examples would be jackets, coats, thick sweaters, and sturdy trousers. Let's buy it. Why not? We got the money. Now, I'm aware that I shouldn't buy it. I am aware that we can get a quest from Fat Larry to improve our finance and make this cheaper. But Lotaeri doesn't know that, so we're going to buy this right now. Awesome. Thank you, Fat Larry. Let's go ahead and equip it. And we gained +1 armor rating, gaining 1 more bashing, and we also picked up 1 point in lethal now resistance. And let's round the corner so we can take a look at ourselves. We should also look like we're wearing different clothing. I don't want to take out a weapon and have anyone see me do that, though. Here we are now. I can't swing the camera around to our front, so maybe we'll see ourselves in a cutscene. But the armor that we... I think indeed, like, this is what we're wearing now. And I like this look. I actually... This was the look I had in college, all throughout my college years, was wearing suit vests, nice button-up shirts, and jeans. Oh, that was my look, so how about that? We had the same look that I used to have. I think Fat Larry can give us a quest right now if we talk with him, but maybe we'll wait on that a little bit and explore more of the streets. Or maybe actually we will just talk with Fat Larry again. No, you know what? Actually, let's go see Nines Rodriguez. We were given a task by the Prince, so we'll go ahead and get that task done. The sewer system here in downtown is just as clean as the sewer system is in Santa Monica.
What?
I said the sewer system in downtown is just as clean as the one in Santa Monica. This is a magnificent looking building. I love the gargoyles on this as well. I forgot all about the look of downtown. And speaking of look of downtown, what the heck is happening here? You think COVID-19 was happening or something, and it sounds like the thugs are now fighting a few people. We're gonna go take a look at this, but I'm not gonna get involved this time around. I think the thugs probably ambushed someone who looked like he might have had some money. And that's what we're seeing here right now. Oh, it's a gang fight. Oh my god, look at that kick! Holy crap! Those poor thugs! They got the snot kicked out of them by these guys with the jerseys and jackets. Alright, that guy... Alright. And that guy managed to kill both of his assailants. How about that? Man, life comes at you fast. 3 thugs, 3 guys in red jackets. Thugs win. Good for the bandanas. So it looks like there is some people wearing, looks like radiation outfits to me. Or biohazard gear out here. Let's see if we can talk with these guys. Maybe they can tell me what's going on. Biohazard on them. And I'm not allowed to talk with them. Oh, hey! Weren't we told a long time ago to look for a place where burns the mystical sun? It kind of fits the bill. I think we had received a letter from one M. Strauss, the Tremere Regent. Let's see if this is his abode. Hello? Mr. Strauss? Or we're not allowed upstairs. I suppose that's guest rooms. I believe if you make a Tremere vampire, you will be given a haven here at their chantry, if I recall correctly. I'm not really here to steal anything from the Tremere. I don't think that would be make a good first impression with them. Thaumaturgical creatures, but maybe we can read at least this book. Thaumaturgical creatures. E. Bankins, Regent, Chicago. Gargoyles. During the medieval conflict with, I can't pronounce this, Zimichi? With the Zimichi, Clan Tremere delved further into secret blood magics and created a race of protectors known as gargoyles. Since their inception, gargoyles have been used as scouts, warriors, and sentries. Gargoyles are monsters, vampires by virtue of the blood and flesh through which they are created. They are no more than the detritus of other clans, given a second chance to serve their Tremere creators. Unfortunately, many have wrongly come to view their service as slavery, and have fled their masters in search of some delusional utopia. Most escaped gargoyles live in isolation, preferring solitude to even the company of their own kind. Homunculi. For the most menial and mindless tasks, many Tremere create what is called a homunculus. These are mindless creatures which take many forms, winged, many-legged, or otherwise. Homunculi are unfailingly loyal, but their appearance makes them a serious threat to breaking the Masquerade. Well, I don't really see us needing this book. It was a good read, and I'm not going to take it from them. I would like to leave it back on sorry everyone, this is super important. I leave it right back here. That's good enough. We can pretend that I accidentally bumped into it. If I didn't know any better, I'd say this door was left open for us to peek into it. And that book was left there for us to actually see that book and read it. Almost like, again, it was expected of us. We've seen this gentleman before. at the theater, looking down at what was occurring on the stage.
Greetings, neonate. I'm glad you found your way here. I have been looking forward to meeting you for quite some time.
And you are?
Strauss. Maximilian Strauss. I am the regent of this chantry. Welcome.
Thank you. What is a chantry?
A chantry is a local gathering place for those of the Tremere clan. I live here, as do apprentices from time to time.
Cool. And you're a regent. What is that?
A regent is the leader of a chantry, as well as a teacher to young Tremere apprentices who are studying the mysteries of our clan.
Can you tell me about the mysteries?
I'm sorry, neonate. The secrets of the Tremere clan are hidden from all but those who share our blood. You would do best not to look into them any further.
Okay, well, what can you tell me? What's going on here in downtown?
Let me give you some advice, young one. Your survival in kindred society will often depend on your ability to find out yourself what is going on around you. Remember that well.
Sure. I appreciate the advice. But if I could get that information from someone else, that would also be, I think, helpful. And far easier.
As for what is going on here in downtown, the word on everyone's lips, kindred or kind, seems to be epidemic.
I noticed the guys on the street outside wearing, looks like, biohazard uniforms or outfits to protect themselves from disease. What's going on?
It seems that disease has been spreading at an alarming rate throughout the downtown population. Considering our particular appetites, the local kindred are more than concerned about these developments.
Interesting.
Yes, indeed. My opinion is that the local anarchs are responsible for these outbreaks. Their precipitous indulgence of certain passions often leads to such things. Ergo, their need for the watchful eye of the Camarilla.
Tell me more about the Camarilla. What is that all about?
The Camarilla? It is merely a kindred sect that exists to protect its members from the outside world. There are specific codes of behavior that we abide by in order to ensure the continuance of our species. It is nothing more and nothing less.
I see. Can I ask you a few more questions about the Camarilla?
Surely. What else would you like to know?
Why aren't the Anarchs in the Camarilla?
The Anarchs feel that they don't need the structure and discipline of the Camarilla. I feel that they pose a threat, both to those loyal to the Camarilla and to themselves. Most are mere children and need our guidance.
An interesting observation. A few more questions about the Camarilla, Mr. Strauss.
Surely. What else would you like to know?
Are all vampires a part of the Camarilla? We know this is not the case.
No. There are many independent clans who are not aligned with the Camarilla, and the Sabbat is another sect of various vampire clans whose beliefs are very different than our own. Unsavory sorts, to say the least. I understand you have already run afoul of them.
Yeah, good thing Nines Rodriguez was there to help me out.
Ah, yes, the infamous Mr. Rodriguez. I understand you owe him your life twice now. Had he not intervened, the prince would have surely had that hound of his separate your head from your shoulders.
You're probably right.
In any case, it's a shame that Rodriguez cannot see the wisdom of the Camarilla. He would make a powerful ally. As it is, he is a significant thorn in Lacroix's side, which serves my purposes just the same.
That's an interesting thing to let on, Mr. Strauss. Aren't your purposes and the prince's the same?
Lacroix is a prince, neonate, and a Ventrue on top of that. Even if he weren't as young and indiscriminate as he's already proven himself to be, But I say too much. Let us just say that he and I have differing ideas on the use of power.
I'm sure you do. A few more questions.
Surely. What else would you like to know?
I'm not going to let on that I would like to know more. I don't think we have the social skills to get that out of him, and I don't think I want to step into that political arena quite yet. Something else I needed, Mr. Strauss.
Of course.
I could maybe look into the epidemic for you.
An interesting proposition. If you succeed in finding the cause of this epidemic and putting an end to it, I will compensate you appropriately for your efforts.
What's in it for me?
I will ponder the nature of your payment while you are gone. Believe me, I will treat you fairly, neonate, and your service to the Camarilla won't be forgotten.
All right. I'll look into it then, Mr. Maximilian.
Very well. Again, I recommend speaking with the Anarchs. You can find most of them at the local watering hole, reveling in the vices of their former lives. I believe the place is called The Last Round.
I'll check in with you later. I like Mr. Strauss. I've never played a Tremere vampire, but I suppose that he will be more forthcoming with members of his own clan. In regards to the powers of clan or disciplines, I don't think you can learn vampire disciplines from a clan that you don't share the blood of. So we can't actually learn Tremere powers, for example, even if we wanted to. Maybe you can do that in the White Wolf rules, but I can't remember if that's the case or not. I don't remember being able to choose that on character when I was making my character a long time ago. But again, I didn't play the pen and paper game, and I only did a little bit of LARPing when I was doing it. And it just occurs to me, everyone, this video is probably going to be mostly talking to people. Not that that's bad at all, but there probably won't be any more combat besides what we've already seen. The next video, too, will probably be very similar in that regard. But we'll do some exploring while we chat, I suppose, for a bit. So... or the opposite. We'll chat for a bit while we do some exploring. Is actually what I meant to say. Alright, so we're going to walk down a few dead ends and look to see if there might be anything left lying around. But we're not allowed inside this parking garage. This is an interesting symbol. We didn't see any of this down in Santa Monica. Maybe, though, it's just graffiti from one of the local gangs. It's not. There's something very specific about that symbol that we're going to want to know about later on. Hello? I didn't expect us to be able to open that door. What's this place? There's a guard out front, or a ticket taker of some sort. Rather run-down looking place. Leather game behind the sofa. Let's talk with this guy briefly. Maybe he can tell us something about this place?
What's up, brother? You enlightened?
No.
Sorry, brother. Come back when you've become enlightened.
Sounds like we need to learn the passcode to be able to get whatever drugs or weapons he might be selling. And nothing back there. Okay. Lots of parking garages here in downtown. One over here. We'll find another, at least one more in another area too. Alright, Tim. Well, you guys think of stuff to talk about now. You didn't write anything down, and you just said you were going to talk about stuff, and you have a long way to walk to the last round. And I need to replace the music in the last round, so I'll be doing that in a few more seconds. Did I ever show you guys these maps? So you can't fast travel using these, but you can at least see where you're located in regards to any other place of interest. I think here in downtown, some of the sewer system lines will lead you into some other places as well, inside buildings. We'll have to keep our eye open if that's the case, if we ever find ourselves in the sewers. And whatever La Opera that is, it looks really interesting. The winged skeletons remind me of total distortion again. I think you encountered those during the dream sequence there, and they robbed you of your sanity in that game. That game was way ahead of its time. That game was basically the internet before the internet really took off or existed. That was early 1990s, that game. It's a shame. It was 10 years too early. Okay, so we know these people are here because there's an epidemic, but I can't talk with these people. Maybe we can after we get done talking with the Anarchs. And I think the Anarchs are down around that corner. I hope they are. God, I'm going on pure memory right now. I think the last round is down there. And they're hanging out where all the poor people are as well. Which makes sense for this particular group, from what I can tell. We'll learn more about the politics they believe in just a few more minutes. And here's my father again, making a phone call. But remember when there were payphones everywhere? I guess there probably still are payphones. They're just not everywhere any longer. Everyone makes the assumption that you have a cell phone. And that is the last round, everyone's right. So I'll be right back. I need to replace the music. Alright, everyone. Music replaced. This was super interesting this time around. The song which is played in here is different when played inside the last round compared to when I listened to it outside of here. The speed of the song has been adjusted slightly. It's not that noticeable, but it is happening, and I had to tweak the speed at which the song I wanted to play in here was set to in order to make it sound correct, or otherwise it sounded weird and distorted, kind of creepy in a way. But I think we're good to go, so let's go in here and visit the Anarchs. Good to see Jack here. I guess we should probably start with talking with him, and then we'll see if we can talk with any of the other folks here.
Well, well, looky who made it back in one piece. How's Santa Monica, kiddo?
I didn't get to do much sightseeing.
I can't imagine you did. I'll be too busy getting pushed around by every vampire with the weakest seniority over you, am I right?
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
That's usually the way the story goes. Same old bullshit politics from when you were alive, huh? Don't it make you just want to rip somebody's spine out? What? You saying that's just me?
Oh, man. Well, I ran to Nines.
Yeah, not a moment too soon, huh? He said you guys let those Sabat go, too. Nines must be getting soft. How could you pass up that kind of fun?
How come he keeps helping me out?
Well, he was left sireless, too. I don't know, maybe that's it. Well, he's got a thing for the little guy.
How do you think the Sabat found me?
Someone must have put a word out. Now, here's an interesting little scenario. I'm just gonna run this by you, see what you think. What if the prince got the word out to the Sabat that you were the one to blow up their warehouse?
No way.
Hey, it's just a theory, man, but who else is gonna be watching you so closely? Knowing where you're going and all that.
Why would LaCroix help the Sabat?
I'm not saying he's working with the Sabat. I know he ain't. But he sure as hell could have put the word out there on the street where the Sabat would pick up on it. Just chew on that.
I guess I wouldn't put it past him.
It's how the Camarilla works, kiddo, trust me. I've been dealing with these slimy shits for a few centuries now.
Man, everyone here is gonna be at each other's throat for politics. I can already tell this. That's what I call dirty politics.
Politics. The stuff that makes the rich get richer, keeps the powerful in power. Look at why you're out in Santa Monica in the first place. 'Cause Prince LaCroix said so.
Maybe... Well, I don't think number 3 is accurate. Alright. But why me?
Because he never thought you'd make it back. If Nines didn't stand up for you in the courtroom, you would have been toast right there, man. Everybody knows that.
I don't get it. Why did he want to kill me?
It's bullshit Camarilla law. You gotta get it approved before you sire anyone. Vampire population control, fascist crap. LaCroix wanted to look like the strong leader upholding the law.
Man, I really wish there was some middle ground to this, because while I agree that he was going to kill us, I think that the reasons for it, you don't want to be on with your head in the guillotine. But man, I kind of agree with the Camarilla's law. You don't want anyone just making it vampires everywhere. I agree with Mr. Strauss's take on that. You don't... So how come I'm still standing here?
Public relations, man. Calculated risk. Ventura are born in a boardroom. When Nines called him out, LaCroix realized it was time to show a carefully measured dose of Camarilla compassion.
I mean, I agree with Jack in this instance. This specific instance involving us. I think that is the truth. But I also really think that the Camarilla have the right idea in regards to trying to keep everything under the covers, so that no one knows what's happening, and keep as much interaction with the non-vampires to a minimum. You're not into public relations, Jack?
Yeah, man. It's called kicking ass and crushing the skulls of any asshole who steps on my toes. That seems to work. People dig it.
I think, by the way, that Jack here is pretty well known from the vampire lore. And if I remember the little bit I have read about him, he's got a rather low humanity. So he is not a good guy, although it certainly sounds like he is. He is willing to do whatever it takes to get what he thinks is a job done. So be aware of that. He sounds great. I really like the voice actor for him and everything. I like his attitude. But oh man, we shouldn't trust him. Is LaCroix afraid of Nines? I thought he was the boss.
LaCroix is the boss of the Camarilla in L.A. That's it. LaCroix is the boss. That's rich.
So, you don't follow Camarilla law?
Kid, I never answered to no man in life. Now I sure as shit ain't taking orders from a vampire with a suit and a funny name. And when I die again, the devil's gonna have to cut me a deal if he wants my ass. Besides, I never trust anybody with an X in their name.
Well, I think LaCroix's got little man syndrome.
The facts are like this. The Camarilla need us to buy into their bullshit for any of their laws to mean dick. Now, telling free-living vampires they need to be ruled is a hard sell. So, the Camarilla baked up a play-nicey plan. Show everyone how great they are, so we'll all just jump on board.
Who is everyone?
The free-living dead, kiddo. A lot of people like to use the label anarchs. Whatever the hell that means. Anarchs. That's got a nice kick to it, though, huh? Yeah.
Reminds me of anarchy. Well, tell me about the anarchs, Jack.
That's us, so I'm told. What do you want to know?
How long has the anarch movement existed?
Yeah, I could tell you about the history of the movement, about our struggle. What's any of that shit mean, anyway? Do we want to sit through history class here?
Well, what's it all about, then?
I'm no scholar, kid, but I've been around. Seen more and done more than most vampires ever will. I don't know that our situation's ever gonna be easy, but some things you gotta decide are worth fighting for.
Yeah, a bit of anarchy. I like laws myself. Well, does Nines feel the same way?
You bet, kid.
Is he in charge here?
As much as anyone is. Nines is a stand-up guy. Takes the politics a little too seriously, though. Came up during the Great Depression, so his brain's wired to that shit.
At this point, if you've been part of a clan and have seen things go good or bad, for anyone who doesn't share your view on things, oh man, your heels are going to be dug in. It's hard to change your politics once you're dug in on them. What about the rest of Nine's crew?
Yeah, I'm not sure the story on most of them. Nine's crew.
What clan are you?
Bruja. Most everyone here has Bruja blood.
A few more questions for you, Jack.
Moving right along.
Just one more for you. Well, tell me a little bit more about the Anarchs.
That's us, so I'm told. What'd you want to know?
Oh, actually, no more. No more questions, Jack.
Moving right along.
I'll talk with you later, man. Take care.
What's on your mind?
I'm out of here. All right, we'll talk to him later, everyone. we have a lot of other people to talk to. Like this gentleman. Hey, sir. Look.
Well, if it ain't the talk of the town, poster child for Camarilla benevolence. What errand does the prince have you running today for?
So they all apparently believe that I have signed up with the Camarilla, and I suppose we have been drafted into that organization so far. But them talking to me like this makes me feel like they're looking down on me. Probably what they're trying to do is drive home that we are indeed just a tool to them at this moment. Funny. Is Nines Rodriguez around here?
Nines is expecting you. Have some manners and don't wear out your welcome. I'm scared. Act up again, and I'll be the one showing your ashes to the door.
We haven't even done anything, man. Did you come up with all that by your... I don't... Wait, we're off on the wrong foot. Like I said, I need to see Nines.
So then go on up and see her. You're free to do as you please here.
I'll do that. See ya. We'll come back and talk with him later. Maybe he'll be calmed down. Maybe I will too. What the heck? We didn't do anything wrong. I actually played some music that was playing here normally. Well, let's talk with Nines first, and then we'll talk with the girl there.
You showed up. Good. Here's what I gotta tell you. And so you know, I don't lecture, I don't rap, I'm no bureaucrat. I'm just a guy out of nowhere came to be involved in something 500 times bigger than you and me.
Go on.
You got a right to know the score. The Camarilla, this is the short of it. They operate a lot like a pyramid scheme. There's a bunch of these old-timers at the top with God only knows what plots in mind. They lose their power, they die. They sired more to carry out their plans, and looking for a little power, then those kindred sired for their own schemes, and so on and on and on. It hurts my head just thinking about the mess. And it works out to is this. Only a few people at the top have any real power.
Just like real life then, right? Isn't the prince the leader of the Camarilla?
LaCroix? Shit. LaCroix's just the guy who backstabbed and wheeled and dealed his way into becoming king son of a bitch of all the local Camarilla. Him and any of the traitors that sided with the Cam want power here, they'll get what's due.
And yes, he's correct. The Prince LaCroix is not the prince of the Camarilla. He's the prince of the Camarilla here in L.A. There are other people above him in other places as well, as all part of this giant pyramid scheme. So what are you all about?
I learned the way of this world during the Depression. Bunch of old rich bastards screwed the country. But did they suffer? No. The little people suffered. You can't trust the people at the top. The world would be a better place without them. All you can do is get a group of people together who aren't assholes. Find a place to put your feet up and make some examples of the quote-unquote elite to keep the rest the hell out. Everyone's an equal here. The same thing this country used to be about. That's what LA has been. An anarch-free state.
I don't know if this country's always been about that, Nines. And you need some decent leaders. Not everyone... I don't know. I don't think everyone should have the same equal say. Like, expertise, knowledge comes into play in this sort of thing, Nines, but it's... I don't know. Is the Camarilla new to LA?
The Camarilla was kicked out on their ass a long time ago. We, the Anarchs, didn't want to play their politics anymore. Now LaCroix and crew pop in like they never left? No goddamn way. Their laws don't apply to us.
When I did LARP, I was an Anarch, if I recall correctly. Me and all my friends were. When we went to LARP with a great many more gamers. And we, it was interesting. We put all of our points into contacts and very few into any of our abilities. But we talked a really big game. And we all had one rule. We don't fight. We spend as much time as possible trying to avoid getting into any trouble. And we talk a big game. And if anyone messes with us, we use our contacts to get revenge on them. So I'm a little familiar with the Anarchs here. And I can like the Anarchs. And I don't know if... it's now years later. I don't know what I think about this any longer. Have you tried meeting with the Camarilla?
I got their meeting right here.
Not a fan of the prince, huh?
LaCroix represents everything I hate. The Camarilla, stuck-up aristocrats, rich businessmen, crooked politicians. The only place LaCroix belongs is in an urn.
I mean, we can see that he obviously hates them, and we can tell from what Strauss was saying that Strauss is not the prince, but he doesn't like the Anarchs, and we can also tell that the prince doesn't like the Anarchs, so they don't like each other for various different political reasons, and I guess there's no real middle ground. Well, at least not here, not between these people. I'm sure that there are people of different, the different sects who do get along with each other, assuming you're not Sabbat. I don't want to say either of these nines, but I don't have a choice. I don't want to say either of these, but the second, I don't know. I don't like either of these. I don't want to piss off Mr. Nines here. He's already angry at us. I'm not going to insult him with number 2. I don't want to insult him by saying he's a prince. I don't want to say either of these. Sounds like you're the prince of the Anarchs.
No such thing. And again, newbie, don't throw those kind of words around lightly. You're risking a beatdown. I fought to keep LA free since I was embraced. A long time later, I'm one of the only ones left that hasn't bid it or switched sides. The most veteran soldier on the battlefield.
Yeah, I don't want to insult him by calling him a prince. That's Camarilla logic. And if he is, doesn't like hierarchies, which sounds to be the case, everyone has an equal say, then a prince is really insulting to him. That's not how you want to address Nines. I'm not going to insult him by saying, too. One more question. Any advice you can give me, Nines?
Here's what I tell all the new blood. 1, you get careless, that blood will make you into a monster. But you rampage around here, you get put down. 2, don't kill when you feed. No reason to. In this city, there's lots of ways to slake the beast without leaving a trail of dead. 3, the Camarilla's full of shit. 4, watch your back, always. And lastly, learn how to fight. Because a speech ain't gonna save your ass when you're staring down the barrel of a shotgun.
That last point is really important. Because that's a hint, maybe a bit of fourth wall breaking. That's not actually fourth wall breaking. It's not told directly to you, the player, but it's hinted strongly. You need the fight. If you don't learn how, I don't believe you can get through every aspect of this game without combat. I can think of at least one area against a boss that we'll be fighting. 2 of them, 3 of them. Maybe even more than that, but you better be able to put down an enemy. And you better be able to do it somewhat quickly. Can you teach me how to fight, Nines?
After picking your ass up off the pavement back there, yeah, I can tell you don't even know the basics. Hold your hands up like this, and keep your body at an angle. Makes you harder to hit. Keep your thumbs out of your fists and put your weight into your punches.
I really like the motion he was doing there. I don't remember that originally. Thank you, man. I really appreciate all your help, Nines. Thanks.
LA's the school of hard knocks, so keep your friends close and your enemies in a barbecue pit. Once you square things with LaCroix, don't give that son of a bitch the time of night. I got my eye on you, kid.
Okay. Hello, miss. Like your clown shoes.
Sabbat chased you in here, Cammy?
What are you talking about?
Heard Nines saved your ass again. You think LaCroix would have stopped counting his money long enough to get your back, Jack?
Well, to be fair, miss, the cab driver just dropped us off, and we were too stupid to notice there was an evil-eyed glowing Sabbat who looks just like most of the other Sabbat we've seen, waiting for me there in an alley in full view of us with a baseball bat. So we're pretty clueless ourselves. We've only got one perception. Maybe LaCroix's got that as well. What do you mean again?
Cammy, you'd have a whole lot less about your neck if it hadn't been for Nines calling the prince out in that courtroom. Shit. Looks like things worked out for LaCroix anyway. Got himself a new errand boy out of it.
What the fuck is your problem?
Oh, you want to know what my problem is? All right, I'll tell you what my problem is. You ready? You are my goddamn problem. Anyone who would lay it down for some cape in an ivory tower deserves what they get.
Well, what alternative do I have? So she's really angry because we're willingly working for LaCroix. What choice did I have, though? Really, we didn't have any. The Anarchs just walked out of the room. Jack helped me, but then he didn't bring me over here to work with you guys.
Oh, that's real. Let me put it in perspective for you. The Camarilla claims every kindred's part of the organization regardless. You do something they don't like, well, you're Camarilla, so you get punished under their laws, like it or not.
Enlightening.
I'm Damsel, den mother of these mothers, and one pissed bitch since Lotaeri ruled in.
I don't know if I don't know. I don't know which side to take. I didn't take any sides with either of my other characters. I'm not sure what side to take at the moment. I have to think about it and ponder on this off screen. I don't know about LaCroix. I'm cool with Nines, though.
Hey, Cammy. I don't apologize often, but it's just with all the shit that's been going down lately. And on top of it, this plague bearer getting the CDC's attention, maybe I misjudged you is all I'm saying.
Understandable. What's a plague bearer?
A plague bearer's a fool that doesn't care who they feed from. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. We can't get sick, but the kind can. And kindred that feed on them start spreading disease. Enough get sick, it's an epidemic. CDC's in town as we speak.
So how do you get rid of one?
Seen Old Yeller? May sound cruel, but it's necessary. If someone puts together 2 and 2 as to the real cause of an outbreak of bloodborne diseases, guess what happens? So the plague bearers gotta be found and put down. If the Camarilla really gives a damn, they'll help us out.
I'm not gonna insult them, no way. Anarchs helped me out before. Where do I start?
One of our boys' ghouls, name's Paul, lives nearby in the Skyline Apartments. Been a stranger lately. Looked like death last time he was here. Said he didn't get bit, but maybe you can get more info out of him.
Ghouls. Why is it always ghouls? Fine. I'll check it out when I can.
Wait. If Paul's not talking, you might want to start questioning the homeless pot. So many have been dying lately that it takes the city a few days to pick up the bodies.
Wow. I'll ask around right now. Bye, damsel. Alright, everyone here has really hot tempers, and seeing me walk in as a Camarilla is probably what's setting them all off. Just me being here reminds them of how awful the Camarilla are to them, and how much they disagree with their politics.
What's up?
None of this vampire shit makes any sense to me, Skelter.
You've got to understand, Kindred. You're carrying a 6,000-year curse in your blood. No matter how powerful it makes you feel.
I don't know. Feels pretty good to me.
That blood is a tangle of chains that's going to leave you bound in servitude the rest of your existence.
Well, life isn't so different than this. What makes you say that?
Your elders command the blood. They control the blood, and the blood listens. You'll never even hear their call, but the blood will, and it'll make you obey.
Similar to what happens to ghouls, then, who drink our blood and obey what we tell them to. Can you break free?
That shit stretches all the way back to Cain, man. Nothing you can do. Some ancient sleeping in a tomb half a world away has a bad dream, and you don't feel that shit. Like it or not.
We know who Cain is already. We don't need to talk to him, but, well, let's ask. Who's Cain?
Cain, man. Father of all vampires. Killed his brother Abel and was cursed by God to walk eternity feeding on the blood of his children. Some heavy shit, man.
You mean Cain from the Bible? Really? Is that true?
Keep your voice down. Is Cain real? I don't know. Not sure I want to know.
If I remember Skelter, he actually believes a lot of this stuff. I would view him as being like a religious in this regard. I hear you, but where are you going with this?
The point is, with this curse pulling your strings, you really want to sign away your right to fight by joining the Camarilla?
Oh my god! I want to hear. Well, we are in their headquarters. This is as if we were Republican. We walk into the Democrat HQ, or we're a Democrat. We walk into Republican HQ, and everyone there is going to see us with the shirt promoting the other politician, and everyone's going to hate us. So, Do you agree with the Masquerade?
I don't need to bare my fangs to feel good about myself. Masquerade is a fruity Camarilla label. Other than that, I ain't got no problem with it. Live and let live. We got enough to worry about.
So that's a yes. Amen.
You know, speaking of the Masquerade, I just thought of something you might be able to help us out with.
Oh my god, I just remembered what you're gonna ask me to do. Tell me about it.
There's this girl who's been making a lot of noise lately. She's a real pain in the ass. She's a ghoul of this one Toreador creeper disappeared.
What's her name?
Her name is Pat. She hangs out in the clubs downtown. She used to show up around here and act like she was everybody's best friend. It was all fun and games until her vampire sugar daddy stopped calling. Now she can't get her blood fixed and she ain't so fun no more.
Why don't you just tell her that he doesn't want to see her anymore?
Man, she's been told he was dead. She don't listen. Just asks again louder. Damn junkie. She's gonna make a scene and get us all some real heat.
You're talking about hunters, right?
Vampire hunters, man. You start doing stupid shit and breaking the Masquerade and you'll see what I'm talking about. Trust me. Hunters are the kind of trouble you don't want.
So if we break the Masquerade, hunters begin showing up. And if you get weak hunters at the start, but if you continue to break your Masquerade, more and more stronger hunters begin showing up to kill you. Alright, so what's the problem with this school?
She's crossed the line. Only time that mouth ain't blabbing is when it's sucking vampire blood. She's gotta disappear. Do this, and we'll keep it our little secret, you hear?
Oh, man. Can I kill someone for someone else because they're talking? They shouldn't be. I don't know. What would Lotaeri do? Killing someone who's attacking us or is dealing with the Sabbat. Okay, that's one thing. This girl, they can do it. Sorry, Skelter. Not my thing.
Well, just keep this under your hat, you hear?
Sure. Goodbye. I can't. I mean, that's experience points if I'm going to stop down and just admit it, but oh man. I can't think of... I mean, with my Volcavian, I just killed her. With Nosferatu. I'll talk about it really quick, about her really fast, and then we'll call the session here, and I'll be back at the Haven to talk about comments I got on the last video. But really quick, I'll talk about what I remember about Patty. She is in the local club, and you can convince her to come outside around the corner, and there I would often feed on her and drain her of all her blood and kill her. And I would do this, I did this with my Volcavian. With my Nosferatu, I don't think I did it at all. Yeah, because I don't think I'm allowed into... I don't think I went into any of the... I don't think I went into any of the bars with my Nosferatu. Actually, you have to go into bars with Nosferatu. There's no way around that either, if I recall correctly. But I don't think I did that with my Nos. But with Lotaeri, I don't know if I can... I don't know if I can convince myself that's the thing I want to do. Oh man, I wonder, could you convince Patty to go to the blood bank to fulfill Vandal's quest? What an awful thing to do to her, though, if you were to do that. God. Okay, man, I can't think that Lotaeri would do this. I'm not going to do it. No, we're not going to do it. Alright, well, we'll stop here. Thank you guys for watching. When we come back, we'll probably walk back in there and talk to the Anarchs a little more, get a little more history about what's going on, and then we'll go ahead and try to start on some of the side quests that they've given us after that. And you might have noticed that we got a stat up when talking with Nines. He gave us 1 point in Brawl. I believe he'll give you 1 point in Brawl as long as your Brawl isn't level 3, I think, if I recall correctly. So that's really super helpful too. Now our brawl on our combat is 4. Yeah, 3 points. Alright everyone, so I'm done babbling. Thank you guys for watching, if you did. And if you're interested in hearing me talk about the comments, I'll do that in a few seconds. Otherwise, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone. What the heck? I could have sworn I got rid of that off my bed. Hey everyone. Welcome back to some more comments section reading. We got some comments on the last video, and we're trying out the whole reading of them at the end of these videos, so let's get to it. So we've got Bruno, who says, all those hours of playing Thief finally paid off, huh? Everyone wants a piece of lottery. Damn. So, yeah, that was pretty fun, wasn't it? So Bruno was referring to sneaking past all of the thugs in the warehouse map. Now that I've done that once, I can't imagine doing that area any other way. Maybe if you don't have a stealth of 5, maybe probably at least 4. Maybe it's not possible to do it in the way I did it. But that wasn't so bad, actually. We didn't have to fight anybody. We didn't risk having to get in. Obviously, that means no combat, which is good because that means we save ammunition. We don't have to use any blood. So, yeah, that worked out really well. I don't know if my Thief, though, did pay off. So, on one hand, judging when to move is helpful, but I play Thief really differently than I did that area. Generally, well, kind of differently. In Thief, I'm very, very cautious. Well, then again, if I don't know where the enemies are, I wait until I see an enemy in Thief before making a move. But we did see where basically every guard patrol was, and they were kind of right in the immediate area. And all specs let me verify that there were people, some thugs, on the other side of that one door. Otherwise, that would have been a reload right there, too. Yeah, maybe it did pay off. Yeah. Bruno also says, I'm liking all the house rules. It gives it the Tim's touch. Yeah! So Bruno's referring to the weapon rule I now have, which is 2 small weapons, 2 large weapons. And so right now we've got a knife and a Shingun 2 and our Colt positive. I've loaded a previous save, everyone, because I like doing the talking with you guys here. There's not as much going on. Maybe in a future episode, though, we'll walk around downtown as I talk with you guys. Anyway, so yeah, thanks, Bruno, for the comment. Glory says, great episode. Thank you. Never tried to complete this mission stealthily. It seemed really hard, but you made it look easy. So it really helped that I had a good memory of the area. I think I had tried to do this stealthily a few times and ended up using Obfuscate when I didn't think I could get past the thugs. I don't think my Malkavian had very high stealth, and if he did, it was an accident for putting points into dexterity. I don't think I raised stealth at all with him. Similar to Lotaeri, with his 2 in stealth at this moment thanks to the books. Maybe 5 stealth with all he had as well. But yeah, I remembered some of the thugs leaving where they were watching to go and use the restroom. And I remembered that the game was very generous with giving you time to get past them. So that worked out well. Like, not killing the guard at the beginning also helped. Oh, helped. I knew the guard at the beginning was going to use the restroom right when I opened that door. And that we could just ignore him, basically. Alright, so Glory also says, oh no, that was it. Alright, cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's not that hard. You just have to be patient when it comes to stealthing. In any stealthing game. Thief really drilled home to me, be patient. And Thief the Dark mod taught me that even more because of how perceptive the AI is in that one. Bum number 1 says, it would be really funny if you go and talk with the cops in front of the gallery. Trust me on this. Alright, let's go out there and say hello to them. I think they're right outside. This is the save slot before I took the taxi, so I think they'll still be out there. I hope you still can. If it's too late to trigger any encounter, I recommend you load an earlier save if possible. It's worth it. Alright, well let's go. I've never done it. I've always avoided it, so whenever I've played this game, even off camera, it's been, again, 8 years since I last played through the game. This is the first time I'm playing with you guys on this playlist. First time I've done this in like 8 years. But when I was playing this more regularly, I don't like reloading a game if I can help it. Like, I won't try something and then reload unless I'm curious about game mechanics. For encounters and the decisions that I make, I try to stay with whatever choice I've made. Sometimes in a game, like what we did with the warehouse district, I will give myself like 1 or 2 reloads if I'm trying to stealth past it. But once I fail that, I'm going forward with the results. And it looks like we can still trigger it. So let's see what happens if we walk up here. Maybe one of these people will recognize me? Or maybe chunks around here? She seems interested in the cop. And the bum seems interested. Hey! Hey! Eyes up, Mr. Bum. I can't blame him. That's kind of... Yeah. Yeah, no one's gonna blame the bum.
Crime scene. Gonna have to ask you to step back, please.
What's going on here?
Some lunatic broke into the gallery and slashed up the paintings. Everyone's a critic these days, huh?
It sounds like the guy we had heard earlier talking to his friend at the pier. I just hope they catch the guy, person who did this. Bye now. That's kind of funny. Everyone is a critic. Can we talk with this guy? Are you referring to Chunk, by the way, bum number 1? I thought I saw him here briefly, but I don't know where he is now. Yeah, that's interesting. Alright, yes, and a crime scene. Not supposed to interrupt those. You know, it's such a weird thing when you do encounter one. I guess I'll talk about this really briefly. I mean, maybe some of you don't know, but many years ago, about 10 years ago, my house was burglarized. I came home and found my computer and the Nintendo Wii removed from them, along with all the peripherals for my computer and its monitor. And I had moved stuff in the house when I had first entered. I remember thinking, like, how weird it was that my TV was slightly askew when I walked in. And the moment I walked into this room where my computer is, I saw the computer gone, and I knew immediately what had happened. And then I went back to the living room, and I noticed that my back door... So my living room has the front entrance to the street and a back door, right, that leads into my living room as well, basically. And it had been forced open, and the screen door sliced to get to it. But my house was a crime scene, and it didn't occur... That never occurred to me when I was here, that the police would want to look around and check for things, like fingerprints and so on. So that was a shame that I disturbed it, so... Anyway, this thought that'd be interesting to share. Alright, so yeah, that's kind of cool. And thank you for recommending that bum number 1. I never would have gone over to talk with those cops had you not suggested it. Destruction 42K says, to be honest, Tim, if you're going with the restricted weaponry rule, feel free to pick up extra weapons, just don't use them. Well, so the idea that I'm going with Destruction is that I have a limited amount of space on me. So if it comes down to wanting a new weapon, I'm going to need to drop an old one. Now, if I can't do it, like, let's say I drop a weapon and people are dropping this old weapon, I keep accidentally picking it up, I'll just hold on to it at that point, and I'll just drop it in the nearest, when we zone out of that combat area or what have you, or I'll try to leave it someplace if I can later on. But generally, I'm going to try to restrict myself to only being able to carry two small weapons and 2 large weapons on my character. The instruction says, feel free to carry them until you can stash them. I just don't want you dropping new weapons as they violate your self-imposed weapons limit. So, the idea is going to be that if I see a new weapon and I want it, I'm going to need to make my decision right there, what I'm doing with it. It won't be something that I do, no time manipulation. I'm not going to warp back in time to reload a previous save to get that weapon if it's behind. I'm not going to, if I leave that zone, like, I don't know how to describe it. I can't carry it. I can't. And so I have to make a choice right then and there what types of weapons I want. The only reason why I would pick up more than just 2 weapons is if these weapons keep on dropping and I'm accidentally picking up, in which case, you know what, just to save time, we just won't use this weapon, but I will hold on to it until we can drop it at the first opportunity. And Destruction 42K also says, P.S. If you ever feel like you're running out of topics to discuss in an open area, feel free to sprint to get to the next area and or topic of discussion. Destruction 42K, you know I can't do that. I gotta walk everywhere. If I run, I'm gonna feel really weird. I'm gonna feel like I'm breaking all sorts of rules, and I'm gonna... I don't know what other way to describe it. It feels so strange for me to be sprinting everywhere in the game. Sometimes I will, if I've forgotten something, like the astrolite, which occurred to me at the beginning of the last video. But generally, I won't do that. I like walking everywhere. what I'll probably do is if I can't think of anything to talk about, I'll just start talking about other things I'm doing here, like games I'm playing or what I'm working on. That will probably end up being Heroes Quest. A lot of Heroes Quest talk if I end up needing something to talk about on the fly. Methadron says... Oh, Methadron... So Methadron left another big comment to me. Let's go ahead and read it. Alright, Methadron says, Hey, Tim. Hey, Methadron. I think it is good to keep my longer comments for last. Not everyone wants to hear my rambling, and they want your reaction to their comment. Well, you know, everyone wants their... Well, I don't know if everyone wants their comments read, but that's what I'm doing here. And yeah, but that's the idea, is that your comments, Methadron, have been really, really long so far. And so... But I like them. I hope I'm not saying the wrong thing when I say I'm saving them to last, but they are the longest, and so if someone just wants to hear their comment, then they can sign off. But otherwise, I think some people just like hearing me talk about all the things other people are commenting about. So I also enjoy the new house rule with weapons, especially with a character that acts logical. Well, this comment's going to be another long one. Yeah, I think I like this house rule with the weapons too. It reminds me a little bit of like a Stalker. In the Stalker game, you could have like one pistol and then 2 other weapons, which can also be another pistol, I guess, if you really wanted a second pistol. But I kind of was aiming for that with this character as well. Alright, well, let's get through the rest of the comment. Now, with the Malkavian, I could see the inventory being full completely logical, as he did not know he did not have a backpack or something like that. Malkavian dimension powers are really weird to higher levels in the pen and paper RPG, but there are more than 5 levels of each discipline if you have a lower generation. So I like that idea. So there is a character, so I think I could probably describe it like this, right? I don't play fighting games any longer, like Street Fighter or the like. I used to be a huge fan of them, but I like watching them. And there is this one game called Guilty Gear, and there's a character in it whose name is, I think his name is Faust. And he's got like this paper bag over his head, and he fights with a huge scalpel. And he's really weird. He like, some of his things don't really obey the laws of the game. They break fourth wall. He uses like strange teleportation powers and stuff like that. It's really strange. And so yeah, if I was a Malkavian, I can see that his dementia somehow lets him carry all these weapons, even though it wouldn't make sense in our world for him to allow him to do so. So yeah, I can totally agree with that. But that's not us. we are a Toreador. We're not and we're not playing an insane one. We don't have dementia, so I'm going to limit myself to these weapons. Methodron then says, you are correct that the Nosferatu are mostly information brokers. They buy and sell infos better than anyone else. Nosferatu are rarely in official positions of power, mostly because they prefer to stay in the shadows, but also because of their appearance. With Obfuscate, they are not only capable of going invisible, but they're also capable of putting on a human appearance, and those who learn that often take on multiple human facades, and build up real human with birth certificate and social security number and everything. Just something to think about. Okay, interesting. So in this game, for the player character, Obfuscate only makes you invisible. You can't alter your looks. But I do remember that in the intro, if you're playing a Nosferatu, when you wake up, you look like a horrific Nosferatu, but your sire does not. And then when you're brought to the prince at the theater is when your sire shapeshifts into his Nosferatu form at that point. Or rather, he drops the Obfuscate at that point. Actually, I didn't realize Obfuscate could do that. I thought it was mostly or only just invisibility or being able to move silently. Bertram's view of vampires is basically the same, basically the theme of VTM. We are all monsters and are just clinging to the rest of our humanity. This is what vampires call a path, a way to keep the beast inside cage and under control. Yeah, Bertram's view of the clans, I think, will probably closely align with mine. I tend to agree with the Camarilla's desire to keep up the masquerade. In this episode, we learned from Skelter that the Anarchs have a similar view. They just don't call it the masquerade. He's like, that's a fruity name for it, but yeah, like don't run around baring your fangs and stuff like that. Try to keep it all undercover. You get less trouble that way. But I do like the idea of having laws about breaking it, because otherwise people might be a little too forgiving of it, and I don't know if I agree with that. It's kind of weird. I do kind of agree with the prince, but I also do think he's flouting his power a little bit too much. Okay, and then Methadron mentions has the name of the clan I can't pronounce and is trying to help me pronounce it. Let me see if I can. So, Zamitsi? Zimichi? I think it's Zamitsi. Are the Flesh Crafters and the Sombra control shadows, as you said. These two clans are more or less the founders of the Sabbat. There are vampires of all other clans inside the Sabbat. They are called anti-tribu of each clan. For example, Toreador anti-tribu. So basically anyone who is not satisfied with the Camarilla can join the Sabbat. And as Bertram and Jack told you, the Sabbat are not really picky about who works for them. So, are there then Zimichi or La Sombra anti-tribu that are anarchs or Camarilla, I wonder? I guess nothing stops that from happening. It's unless their blood stops them from wanting to do that. Maybe there's something more monstrous about... Because we know the blood can alter someone's state of mind and the way they view different people. So maybe the blood has an ability to control certain vampires who have that bloodline and stop them from desiring to, like, join the Camarilla and makes them more monstrous. That'd be interesting if that's the case. The Sabbat, if I remember correctly, see the vampires as the apex predators who should rule the world and should control the humans. This is why they do not have the Masquerade. If they are seen by a human, they'll either kill the witnesses or make them into a vampire. Sometimes they intimidate or blackmail witnesses, but they are rarely subtle in their ways. Gotcha. Yeah, this would explain, like, the reveling in their monstrous nature. They don't think they should hide it. They view it as a blessing, I suppose, and they assign that they were meant to rule. I guess, well, no, let's not go there. Beckett is, alright, so more from Metatron. Beckett is a very cool character that is deeply ingrained in the lore of vampires. As far as I know, he is a weird guy, a gangrel with an education and interest in history and the occult. Most gangrel are very animalistic in nature, and yes, with his wolf transformation, he basically gave away his clan. The disciplined Protean gives gangrel the ability to change hands into claws and even transform into a bat, wolf, or mist. The classic shape-changing abilities of a vampire. Nice! Hey! I like that was added, that they kept that idea in the game, right? Because I know very little about the vampire actual abilities from standard lore or history. I never read Dracula. I didn't watch any of the movies for Dracula. I know a little bit about it, having talked with some of my friends about it a long time ago, but that was about it. And I knew someone from Transylvania who liked talking about the stories about Dracula in particular. But I know very little about them otherwise. My only encountering of these powers was actually from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Castlevania X, I think is what it was. Where, I think his name was Alucard, had all those powers, if I recall correctly. And you needed him to do the Metroidvania stuff of backtracking to access areas you couldn't access earlier. In relation to my last comment, says Methajon, what makes vampires even more uncanny is that they are static beings. This means that you will always be in the condition you were in when you were embraced. Basically, every night you wake up in the same condition. If you get a haircut, for example, one night, you will wake up with your old haircut from your embrace. This is for anything that you change to your body. You could rip off your arm and it will be back in the next night. Getting a piercing or a tattoo will also be reset, unless the vampire uses unless the vampire uses their supernatural willpower to make changes permanent. But this is something the younger vampires do. Older vampires rarely do this. Most probably have a ghoul that takes care of their hair every night, just in case they want to change, or they got embraced on a bad hair day. Oh, interesting. This reminds me of I didn't watch the whole thing, only bits and pieces of it, but there was the movie Interview with a Vampire, and I remember, like, this little girl gets embraced, and she, like, tries to cut her hair, which is, like, this curly hair, but, like, an hour or even a few minutes later, it's right back to the way it had looked. And anything she tried to change about herself, the way she looked, like, she was never going to grow old. She was always going to look like a 11-year-old girl. And she was furious at that, if I remember correctly. So it sounds like that works the same in this world, only it's on a day timer. The RPG is mostly a very political game. Blood bonds with other vampires are never taken lightly. There are a few clans that do this. The Tremere even always do this. Have this, sorry. It is required for them. Oh, I guess that makes sense given how secretive they are of their blood magic powers. And the Sabbat do this within their packs. Sabbat packs are always in a high blood bond with one another, and this just ensures loyalty within that pack. I guess that would make them frenzy if they saw one of their pack being killed as well, right? Because that's someone that the blood would make them view that person as a true friend, and they just saw them that person get killed. But in the Camarilla, binding another vampire with blood is almost always a stupid move, as they will probably notice this, as many vampires know their own feelings very well. So they will probably take the easiest road and just kill you outright. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, you wouldn't see the Camarilla really blood bond with other vampires unless it was, like, absolutely true love. And even then, how do you know you're not just being played, right? Because there's all sorts of political games happening with in the Camarilla. This, of course, ends the blood bond. And the other vampires will probably not even do anything about this. A freely taken blood bond is a really rare and weird thing that I have never seen done before. Maybe someone like Ian Lilly down at the beach would do this, but they wouldn't need that. Yeah, correct. Yep. In relation to Thin Bloods, there is a really interesting thing that can happen that I was reminded of. Thin Bloods have so little vampire blood that they do not have all the downsides of vampires. They are more resistant to sunlight, they breathe, they can blink, and they even can reproduce. Yes, a thin blood can become a parent. That's interesting. I didn't think that was actually possible. I thought, okay, so then this is what I was originally thinking, that the Thin Bloods, they have some downsides of being a vampire, but not all of them. I wonder, I guess after the 15th or 16th generation, maybe there's no, maybe I guess you're just a standard human after that. Like, it doesn't have any effect on you whatsoever. If they reproduce with a human, they create something called, I can't pronounce that. I can't pronounce that word. Damper? A half-human and half-vampire offspring. For ease of mind, you can think of a damper as basically a permanent ghoul. Oh, wow. So a child that will obey you. That sounds pretty powerful. I can see every single father and mother in our world doing that. Rather than deal with teenagers. Well, I got off track there, but yeah, that happens to me sometimes. Just roll with it. I really enjoy this, and I promise I will only reference the books if my brain really needs me to, because something very specific comes up and I really want to be sure. Yep, that's fine, Methodron. Thank you. A lot of the old memories just came back to me. So I'm done for today. We'll see you next time. Cool. I'll see you next time too, Methodron. And everyone, I think that's all the comments I got on the last video as of this recording. So that was time for me to get this part added to the end of this video, and then record the next one. So I'll see you guys in a few seconds. And thank you for watching. Well, not a few seconds, but I'll see you guys in the next one. And thanks for watching this. Take care, everyone.